Hello. I wanted to make a little bit of a different video this week. This is actually going to have like a little 5-minute teaching lesson in it because this is something that I do not recall covering on my notes for this week. I think it comes up either in Hawks or the Interest Lab or the final exam. I cannot remember where this comes up, but it's definitely something that I hadn't covered. But let's just recap. Last week you had your Chapter 5 proctored quiz. At this point in time, that's closed. So I hope you took it. I hope you did well. And you had to have used a proctor because otherwise you wouldn't have known the password. You also had a mean, median, and mode lab. I told you last week that's something that's on the final exam that's not in the textbook and it's just not covered in Hawks or anywhere else. So I made up a lab and I had notes and videos on that. If you did not do that last week, you should at least go back and watch the notes and the videos so you can get it correct on the final exam. There is a question on the final exam about that. And this week we're going to start our final chapter. This is actually the last section of Hawks, section 9.2, and it's on interest. Simple interest and compound interest. It's a pretty heavy section though, and so it'll take us all week this week, and then part of next week you'll have an unproctored quiz just covering section 9.2. But again, this is something, if you see my Word document I have up, this is something that is somewhere in this course. I just cannot remember where. And I know I haven't gone over it, I don't think. So I wanted to just talk through something with you that you're going to see in the next week or two. And that is the simple interest formula. We know the formula. The formula is I equals PRT. We know that P is your principal. Okay, so this is how much you're putting in. We know that T is time. And we know that the rate is going to be given to you as a percentage. Okay, now I'm going to write that down. Rate is going to be given as a percent, but used as a decimal. Now, you're going to see this a little bit more on the lab. I do go over this part, so if that kind of threw you for a loop, just watch my other videos. But it's going to be given to you as a percent, but it's going to be used as a decimal. So let me give you an example. If I tell you that a person earns, let's say, $20 in interest, and I'm just going to make this up, okay, $20 in interest, they put in, let's say, $600 into this particular investment. We do not know the rate, and that's what we're looking for, so I'm going to put a question mark. And let's say that you leave it in this account for a total of 3 years. Now, this is going to come up sometime in the next, I'd say, 10 days. Interest, you earned $20 in interest. You put in a principal of $600. We don't know the rate. So I'm getting ready to show you how to solve for rate. So let's copy down our formula. You would have I equals PRT. And again, this is coming up. I've got lots of notes on this, but I just wanted to highlight something today in my weekly video. So interest is 20, so I put 20 in for I. Principal is 600, so I put a 600 in for P. I do not know R, so I'm just going to leave it as an R. And I know that the time is 3 years. Well, the question is, how do you solve this equation for R? We're trying to determine the rate. Okay, here's what you do. You need to combine these two first. So 600 times 300 gives us 600 times 3 gives us 1800, and then we have our rate. And in order to solve for R, you need to divide both sides by 1800. So divide both sides by 1800, and this is what you'll actually put in your calculator right here. So you'll put 20 divided by 1800, and that's going to give you your rate as a decimal. Let me put that in my calculator. 20 divided by 1800. Okay, this is going to give me a decimal of 0.01111 repeating. You can put 3 dots like that. That just means it's repeating. Now, here's what I want to focus on. Let me see if I can, I don't want to change colors because I might jack up. It's going to be given to you as a percent, but it is always used as a decimal. And again, you'll have to watch my other videos and then maybe come back to this one, to be perfectly honest. This is a decimal right now. This is the rate as a decimal. And that's good. That's how we would use it in our problem. We would use it as 0.0111 repeating, depending on how many decimal places it tells you to go to. But that's not the answer to the question. When they ask for the rate is going to be a percent. So what we have to do here is we have to take this decimal and convert it to a percent. So what you're going to do is you're going to multiply the decimal by 100 to convert to a percent. Now this goes back to what we studied the very first chapter in chapter 4. Percentages are always out of 100. So the rate is going to be a percent. So what I need to do is I need to take this number, 0.0111 repeating, and I need to multiply that by 100 to get the rate as a percent. And the answer will be, that's going to actually bump the decimal 2 places to the right. So it will be 1.11%. This would be the answer if they were asking for the rate. The answer is a percent. And so that's something that I do not recall covering in my other videos. This probably isn't the best timing. I honestly should have just made a video of this and not included it in my weekly video. But anyway, here it is. So watch my other videos, maybe come back to this when you need it. And so that's what you'll do. If you are solving for rate, you're going to find it as a decimal, but you have to convert it to a percent. Rates are always a percentage. I mean, if you think about it, like, you know, you're reading an article and they're talking about the interest rate, or really we're talking about finances here. We're not really talking about heart rate. We're talking about interest rates. And interest rates are always percentages. So make sure that you bump that decimal place 2 to the right. And another way to think about that is multiplying by 100. So this week, again, we're going to do section 9.2. You have one section of Hawks, and you have a lab, an interest lab. I think it has about 10 problems on it. I just kind of tweaked that yesterday. And again, I cannot recall where you have to solve for R, but I know you have to solve for R somewhere because I had a note right here at my little desk. I write myself notes, and it says, make a video for solving R or T. Okay, maybe I want to show you one that solved for T real quick. So let's solve one of these for T. How would that be different? So let's say I give you here's a new problem. I give you the interest and I tell you that it's $35. I give you the principal and I tell you that it's $1,000. I give you the rate and I tell you that it's 6%. And I tell you to solve for T. What is the time? How long would you have to leave your money in the account to earn $35 in interest? Okay, so we'll plug into the formula. I equals P RT. I is 35. P is 1,000. The rate is 0.06. Now again, you might have to watch my first videos and then come back to this one. And what we're trying to solve for is time. So you're going to put this in the calculator. Multiplying by 1,000 is going to move the decimal 3 places to the right. But anyway, let's go 1,000 times 0.06. So that's going to be 35 equals 60 T. And then to solve for T, T is time, you would divide both sides by 60. And this is what you'll actually put in your calculator, is 35 divided by 60. So let's put that in and see what we get. I'm getting the time is 0.5833 repeating. And typically you're asked to round it to 2 decimal places. So for this one, time would equal 0.58 years. Typically this would be in terms of years. So that's a little over half of a year. Now you do not have to do anything with percentages because time is not a percentage, okay? Again, this probably was not the best place to put this video. I kind of want to see if people are watching my weekly videos, to be perfectly honest. because maybe this is something maybe I shouldn't make weekly videos, I guess is what I'm asking. And I don't know that everybody's watching them. So this is a little hint and a little like nugget for those of you that took the time to watch my video. Let's see how long my video's been. I'm at 10 minutes. So I'm going to stop. I appreciate you watching. Again, you probably need to watch my interest videos that I have posted with the notes and then maybe come back to this. But this will come up sometime in the next, I'd say, 10 days. Okay? Have a great week. Let me know if you need anything. We're getting really close to the exam. I'm probably going to open up the exam the first and second week of December. So I guess the week after Thanksgiving. I'm going to go ahead and probably open that up and give you 2 weeks to complete the final exam. That way we're not bombarding the Proctor Center the very last day of classes. So have a great week, and I'll talk to you soon.